Well, welcome everyone. This is Parsons, your Hangout Mentor and the host of the Inspirational Business Women show. And it's great to be back with you after a wonderful spring break. I'm just thrilled to have you here because I know your time is valuable. And I think you're going to find that your time is well taken today with our Pinterest expert, Anna Bennett, who will be joining us in just a moment. You know, it is my passion and my purpose to provide you, the entrepreneur, with a goldmine of entrepreneurial tips, strategies, and advice to help you grow your business from inspirational business women in the know. And today's show is sponsored by Hangout-marketing.com, where you can receive a free Hangout marketing assessment. Now, this assessment is going to value your skill set and your knowledge base in using Hangouts on Air to brand, grow, and market your business. So all you need to do to take advantage of that assessment is pick up your phone. That's right, pick up your phone and text the word success, SUCCESS, to 307-269-2040. Now, that assessment will only take you a couple of minutes, and you might even qualify for a free strategy session with me. So take advantage of that. I would love to talk to you about how you can use Hangouts to grow your business. Now, I also want to thank you for being here, and why don't you let the world know and us know where you're hanging out from? I'd love to see that. And my intention, you know, is to have a collaboration of entrepreneurial business women and men where we can get to know each other. So please go ahead and let me know where you're hanging out from today. Now, also, you know, we're going to have an after show, and Anna's going to hang around for a few minutes after the show to say hi to you in person. So don't be shy. Come on into the after show. I will post that link at the end of the broadcast. It will not be broadcast, so you don't have to be shy. Come on in and say hi. We'd love to meet you. So let's get on to introducing you to Anna Bennett. I'm just really excited to learn what she has to share with us today. She is considered a Pinterest marketing expert, even acknowledged by Pinterest itself and Forbes as the woman to watch in Pinterest these days. So we're going to talk about supercharging your traffic and your sales with Pinterest. We're going to discuss how Pinterest can rank, how businesses can rank high on Google using Pinterest, and also why ignoring Pinterest could be a costly mistake that I know I want to avoid. And finally, what is the best way to learn Pinterest without wasting time and money? So without further ado, I want to bring Anna on. Say hi to our audience, Anna.
Hello, Virginia. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I am so happy to have you here today, Anna, because I know that this is a topic that is of a lot of interest to people. You know, the massive part of my audience comes from Google. So, you know, we're kind of Google, I call it Googleized. But we know that Pinterest is one of the fastest growing social media platforms today. And I think it has a lot to do with, you know, we like visuals. We love pictures.
Right,
So
right.
I think people are going to be so fascinated with how you came across Pinterest and why you decided to really focus on this as your area of expertise. So go ahead and share that with everyone.
All right. Well, I'm 51 years old, and about 6 years ago, I had decided to sell my luxury day spa. And I thought I was going to probably go on somewhat of a retirement. You know, I took about a couple of years off, but I was going crazy. It was like, you know, I had nobody to play tennis with, nobody to play golf with. You know, most of my female friends were still working. And anyway, I decided to, you know, take on social media marketing. So I got my, I got certified for that as a social media strategist. And at the time, even the course that I took wasn't, you know, they just kind of gave you a little bit of a summary about what was sort of going on Pinterest, but the course was definitely very focused on, you know, Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, all, you know, all the big giants. And so when I came across a number of case studies about how you know, Pinterest was like the fastest growing website in history, and it was driving more purchases than Facebook. I mean, it really caught my attention because, you know, Facebook is actually, you know, 6 years older than Pinterest. So I'm thinking, you know, there's something here that's telling me, it's like, you know, if there's this platform that is still very much in its infancy and it's already beating a lot of you know, a lot of the performance that Facebook seems to have held for a long time. And we know that Facebook reach has gone down tremendously in terms of organic reach. So I was really sold on it right away. You know, I have a very, very practical approach about business. I mean, we only have so many hours in a day. And I think that, you know, as an entrepreneur, you really need to decipher, you know, which social platform, you know, your audience is on and where you think you're going to get your best ROI, because I don't believe you can be an expert in all things. I don't believe you can be in every single social platform and excel in all of that. I don't think it's realistic. You know, if you want to outsource parts of that, great. If you want to catch up, but if you're doing it on your own as an entrepreneur, even for me, just, you know, just keeping up with Pinterest changes is already so overwhelming.
I've got you. And the thing is that, you know, how do you decide? I think it's interesting that you chose because you saw that it was the fastest growing social platform out there. And so you took it from there and said, now how can I really use this in a way that's effective for growing business? Is that sort of, or did you just get into the picture thing in the beginning?
You know, I'll tell you, I actually didn't understand Pinterest when I first got an invitation. At the time that, you know, Pinterest is 6 years old. No, actually, they were born in March 2010, so that makes them 5 years old. And at the time, you could only get on Pinterest as an invitation. You know, it's different on Facebook. You get on Facebook, you know, you're on Facebook, you create an account and you're in. But with Pinterest, it was only embedded testing, and you can only get it through invitation. And I didn't understand it at all. I completely ignored it for the longest time. So here's the proof that you can definitely still catch up. You know, if you're still not sold on whether you should be on Google Plus or Twitter or Facebook, you know, whatever you decide, you can still definitely catch up. But yeah, I mean, just the statistics alone, it was just really mind-boggling for me. And to me, you know, you talked about Goldmine earlier in your introductory, and you know, Pinterest is definitely a gold mine to me.
Well, let's talk about that. So how do you think businesses can rank high on Google using Pinterest? I think that's one of our first takeaway tips we want to provide people with.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing. You know, a lot of people don't realize that you can use Pinterest to rank high on Google. You know, let's not forget that Google is the #1 search engine. So, you know, many of us use Google. I use Google on a daily basis, and we're typing in, you know, certain keywords in there to basically find what we're looking for. And, you know, Pinterest actually works the same way. And so that's one thing I really want to make it very clear to your audience, is that Pinterest is so different from other socials like Facebook and Twitter. You go on Pinterest and you use it like a search engine. You use it very much like Google. So people behave differently on Pinterest. So that's the first thing that we have to understand, is the behavior of how to use Pinterest, how people are using Pinterest. We know that, you know, on Facebook and Twitter, like Facebook, you know, we're there sharing information with friends, family, right? You know, keeping up with what everybody's up to. So on Pinterest, the behavior is very different. You know, people are on there with this mindset of planning for the future. So they're using it like a search engine, like I said. So how Pinterest can help you rank high on the first page of Google, actually under your most important keywords. So once you've been able to decipher what keywords you want to rank high on Google, so what that means is that you can use Pinterest to obviously drive more traffic and better traffic, because they are self-selected and free traffic to your website. So as a B2B service company, I actually rank on the first page of Google with my chosen keywords because of Pinterest. So if you actually, right now, if you have access, you know, if you have an extra computer somewhere, so you're not missing out on the visuals here, if you type in the keywords Pinterest expert or Pinterest consultant, you're gonna see me on the first page. So this didn't happen overnight. You know, nothing amazing ever happens overnight. I think we all know that, right? You want to lose 10 pounds, that's not going to happen overnight. Okay.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. So, but you know, ranking high on Google using Pinterest does require a lot of planning. So I'll share some tips with you. You know, 3 things. So first is you need to pick up an important keyword for your business. What is that? So for example, like I said, for me, I picked Pinterest expert, thinking that people who may want to look for the services that go on Google would probably type that into the search bar. So I didn't use that keyword in the beginning. I really, you know, when I first started my social media marketing company, I didn't choose, you know, Pinterest expert in the beginning, because I was still very new at, you know, social media. I was still trying to sort of, you know, figure out, you know, which social platform would be best for me. And I knew I wanted to be an expert in one of those socials, but which one? So to make the long story short, I decided to focus on Pinterest. So that's when I decided to, okay, let's start, you know, creating blogs and so forth, creating content that I can share on Pinterest, also using those same keywords. The next one is, you know, when you're on Pinterest, you can actually create boards or what I call, you know, themes. So these are boards that you can create. And what you want to do is you obviously want to optimize your board titles and your board description, again, with the same keyword. And third, you know, doing all these activities, you know, Google sees that and thinks, wow, you know, this is extremely relevant when someone searches for that term, and in my case, Pinterest expert. So, so what happens now is, you know, really that's how people find me for my services and for my course as well. And, you know, that has directly, you know, related to me earning a 6-figure income on Pinterest marketing just on my 2nd year. So, yeah.
Well, I like that idea that you first of all figure out what the best keywords are for your business. And I'm assuming you're going to use those keywords every place, not just on Pinterest, but throughout all the different social platforms. But on Pinterest, you would use it in your own personal description. Is there a place see, I'm not an expert, obviously, in Pinterest. Is there a place for a personal description when you open your account to use your keywords?
Oh, definitely. There's several places. You know, it starts even with your username, which is like your address, your Pinterest URL. You can optimize your business name. You can optimize the about section on your profile. You can optimize your board titles, board descriptions, and then your pin descriptions. And beyond that, yeah, like you said, you really want to be consistent with those keywords, whether you're on LinkedIn, if you type in Pinterest expert as well, you'll also find me there. You want to keep things consistent across the board, regardless of what social you're using. It's just good discipline to do it that way, to stay focused on that. And you don't want to, have a bunch of keywords, because remember, you're competing with other people. It's most likely that there's another competition out there that wants to rank high in the same keyword as you. So you want to make sure that you keep it to just one or two, and be successful in that. And once you've owned that keyword on Google, then move on to maybe the next one, depending on the nature of your business, of course.
Okay, now you had said something to me about the use of or not using hashtags in conjunction with keywords. Would you like to clarify that a little bit?
Okay, well, hashtags works differently in every social. I think a lot of people, use hashtag really to follow a conversation, a topic, or whatever have you. But what's interesting on Pinterest is that it actually hurts your ranking. So the only place I see hashtags on Pinterest is if you have some sort of a short-term campaign. Say, for example, that you're a clothing store and you have a new collection coming in. Like I know Michael Kors creates, a trending hashtags on their new collection. So on Pinterest, it is it's live. Those hashtags are live. So when you click on that, it takes you to several images that is with that keyword. So why I say that you should use it is because if you're using, say, something generic, like say, hashtag coffee shop. If everybody else is using hashtag coffee shop, what you're doing is that you're taking away the focus away from your business on Pinterest and introducing other people's businesses. Why would you want to do that, right?
That's brilliant. Thank you for clarifying that.
Right,
That's a pack your bag moment.
Right, so which is why you want to make sure that hashtag is unique only to your business. And that is the only place I see hashtags. Instagram is like, 7 hashtag is like the key winner. I mean, if you did that on Pinterest, it would hurt you.
Fascinating. Got it. Well, let's pause for a moment. I want to say hi to a couple people that have jumped on and let us know where they're hanging out from. We've got Jane Gardner here. Hi, welcome, Jane. She's a fellow Canadian, as you are. I didn't mention that earlier, but Anna's from Canada. Sheila Krishman here from Delray Beach, Florida, waiting to learn how Pinterest can work for her business. We've got Jeremy Murphy from Lincoln, Nebraska. Welcome, Jeremy. This should be a very, very interesting hashtag Pinteresting discussion. Welcome, Jeremy. Terrific Tanya Heathco, watching from the National Seizure Disorders Foundation headquarters in Tennessee. And I'm going to bring up Tanya's question for you, Anna. I think you'll find this interesting. How does one discover which social platform contains most of one's audience? I don't know if that's one you can answer or not, but we'll like to hear your point on that.
Okay, so you want to find out, obviously, which social platform you think that your business should be engaging. That's what I'm getting here.
Right, where your audience is located.
Yeah. Okay, so what I say is obviously you need to have a really intimate look at what your audience is doing. I mean, in terms of target audience, definitely each social is different. Some people say Twitter is mostly for men, and then when we think about Facebook is now leaning more towards the baby boomers. The millennials have sort of gotten off the bandwagon on Facebook. So there's definitely, you can go on Google and definitely, look into that. But let me tell you why I chose Pinterest. Regardless of whether you're a man, a woman, whatever your gender is, the thing is that, on Pinterest, people go, oh, a lot of it are women. And I say, you know what's great about that? Women dominate most of the household shopping. Women dominate that. So you want to be where the women are. So if more than, there's about 80% of the women, there's about 80% women on Pinterest compared to men. And what I think why that is wonderful is that, like I said, not only is it because, they do have a huge influence in our household shopping, but they do make most of the final decision. We do have that influence. And what women love about Pinterest is that 70% of women online go on Pinterest for inspiration to buy. That's a lot. I mean, let's let that sink in there for a moment. So women are on Pinterest. They're planning their future. They're looking for content to help them with how to raise their kids, how to save money, plan for their wedding, plan for their vacation. It's really about the future. So when you're on Pinterest, people on Pinterest are there because they're planning their future, which is very different with other social platforms. They're not, they're not going on other social platforms planning about their future. So, they also have this intent. They have a buying mindset as well. So if you have an e-commerce platform on Pinterest, it's an absolute no-brainer.
That makes absolute sense to me, because that is exactly as I mentioned to you earlier. I have a Pinterest board. Well, it's private in this case, with my daughter and other family members for her upcoming wedding. And that's exactly what we're doing, is getting theme ideas and table centerpiece ideas. As a matter of fact, as a result of the ideas I got there and the way they were posted, I clicked on and ended up ordering from ideas that I got on Pinterest. So those companies were using these beautiful pictures to stimulate me to go click on their link and purchase what they were demonstrating. So that's a typical example of planning for the future and turning that into a buying decision.
And see, that's the thing about what you're saying about stimulation. I mean, you don't get, when you're on Pinterest, you really, seriously, it's very addicting. I don't know if there sometimes you'll be there longer than you think, and you've been there a long time because your head literally starting to spin.
I've heard that it can suck you in.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is very addicting, because there's amazing visuals, but it's also because if businesses can find a way to create helpful content, if they can become that sort of go-to source for your customers, you will have tremendous success on Pinterest. And that's the key with Pinterest, is that, as a business, you have to make sure that you're providing helpful content that your audience is going to ultimately gravitate to.
So now, what makes it a costly mistake to be avoiding Pinterest? And I want to think about businesses that are more service oriented, as an example, not necessarily product businesses from the standpoint of e-commerce related businesses, but maybe provide a service such as I do. How would they be using it, and how are we missing out in being a costly mistake by not using it effectively?
So, like I said, on Pinterest, people behave differently on Pinterest compared to other social. And I hope at some point in this hangout, you can get sort of your mind sort of wrapped around that. As a business, what can I do to create more helpful content? Put all that helpful content on my website, and now share that on Pinterest. Because I look at Pinterest and then your website. It's like a circle. Okay. But first, let's talk about some costly mistakes. I'll tell you right now. If you're not on Pinterest, you're definitely falling behind, and you're most likely giving sales, to your competition. So that if you're not on Pinterest, you're most likely losing out on getting more traffic, which I talked about on Google. I mean, I'm talking free traffic. I've never ever purchased any kind of, PPC or anything like that. And I've been able to rank high on Google on the first page as a B2B. So if I can do it, I know that you can do it, right? It's just trying to really figure out, okay, what kind of content exactly can we do, and how do we optimize that on Pinterest? If you're not on Pinterest, again, you're most likely losing out more sales, because at the end of the day, every entrepreneur wants more eyeballs on their website. So if you're not getting more eyeballs on your website, then you're losing out on more sales. If you're not on Pinterest, you're definitely missing out on collecting market intelligence. Why is that important? Because you want to be ahead of your competition. You want to know what your audience is up to. What are they craving right now? What are they planning? So those pins that you see that women or men are sharing, what they're repinning, in terms of market intelligence, they're basically telling you love. Right? So there's no other social platforms that's telling you that. But when you go on Pinterest, you can see how an image will have a certain amount of repins. It shows you right there. It shows you how many people like that pin. So it is giving you market intelligence, and also product development. If say you're you're a clothing store and you want to know sort of the latest fashion trends that women are really buying, you can find that out on Pinterest so easily. I mean, this is a tool that is free for you to really just take, and if you know how to use this tool, it can really save you a lot of time and money. But I have a big retail background, so for me, when I think of market intelligence, I think of like Pinterest is like a focus group for me. Without having to, get all these, women in a room and ask them a bunch of questions. You don't need to do that. Go on Pinterest, and if you know how to do your research properly and how to use Pinterest, it can give you lots of valuable data. And again, first and foremost,
I never thought about it as a focus group. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to figure out who your competition is on there. It's such valuable information, and again, that's why I'm so passionate about it, because you're just not going to get that kind of information on Facebook or Twitter. And also, like I said, percent of pinners go on Pinterest for inspiration to buy. And another thing about Pinterest from a marketer's point of view, or even for people who are bloggers and they're creating weekly blogs and so forth, share your images on Pinterest, and what you'll find is that people will continue to share your blog post on Pinterest over and over. For me, my blogs, I see my blogs that are, almost like 3 years old, still getting shared. So what I do is, when I see that, because I do get Pinterest emails, they tell you what people are sharing and so forth. But when I see a trend that a lot of people are sharing, what I'll do is I'll go back to that old blog post and just kind of give it a good refresh and have it up to date. Because I know that people are still gravitating towards that blog post. So, again, as a blogger, you need to be on Pinterest, and there's definitely ways to make sure that your blog is Pinterest friendly, your website is Pinterest friendly, just so you can harness all the power of what this tool can do for you.
Well, now, how much time on average, since we're all busy entrepreneurs, would you suggest that we spend on Pinterest in a day, or maybe over a week's time?
Okay, well, in terms of social media in general, I really say, focus on like 2 platforms at the most, because you're going to spread yourself too thin if you think you want to be, everywhere. and if you can't afford, if you know that your audience is, say, on a certain platform and you just don't have the time to do that, then, you know, go be smart enough and just outsource it. I mean, yeah, I mean, in terms of how much time you should invest, I say after you have a good idea of how to use Pinterest, if you've taken a course, and then you just sort of just want to maintain it, you know, I say it should only take you like 15 minutes a day to just keep up with it. But everything in life, you know, it's really what you put in, you know. I help different types of businesses where, you know, they have different types of needs. So there's never sort of a cookie cutter, you know, everybody's in different sort in their business. And you just have to work smart. I think, you know, I mean, I work hard, but I think that working smarter is more important than working harder. I mean, you can work really, really hard, but if you're not implementing, you know, the right strategies that actually work, that's current, or if you say you don't know what the current rules are in social platforms, then you definitely, you know, risk getting shut down. I unfortunately have seen that too often on Pinterest, where, you know, businesses get shut down because they didn't know. They didn't know what they were doing was against Pinterest policy. And
so Anna, let's finish with this whole idea of what is the best way to learn Pinterest without wasting time and money, because I think that our audience is very interested in how to use it, incorporating it into, even if it's just 15 minutes a day, that's doable for any of us. So what's the best way to learn it?
Okay, well, you know, I have a couple of courses that I had created, and one is called Pinterest Marketing for Business. So this is, it's $97, and I created this course because if you're a small business owner, you probably have, well, like I said, everybody's different. You know, some small business owner will maybe outsource their accounting, right? So, I mean, to me, I have an accountant. Don't ask me how to do accounting. So, I think, you know, I think you need to be realistic. Your natural abilities are, okay. So, if do what you do best as an entrepreneur, and outsource the things that just don't work for you. So, regardless of whether you want to manage your own Pinterest account in-house or outsource the management, say to an agency or expert, we all know that time is money, and you have to decide ahead of time. You really have to decide ahead of time what you're willing to invest and what you can expect in return. I created that course because, you know, the course is about 4 hours long. It comes with weekly assignments. So really, by the end of 4 weeks, you should already have you already have a Pinterest account where you can just, you know, manage a few minutes every day. So, you know, but I want you to ask yourself this, you know, so whether you're using Pinterest or it doesn't matter whether maybe you might get into Google Plus after this session, you know, you have to ask yourself, do you have someone on your team right now who is qualified to create content? Okay, so creating content for Pinterest and doing it on a consistent basis. And if so, in what way have they become qualified? So if you decide to outsource, are you looking to hire the cheapest person that you can hire, or someone who's an actual expert that's, you know, giving you, that can give you, you know, results and show you your ROI? Like for me, I'm really big on ROI. You know, if someone hires me,
it looks like we have just lost Anna. She's faded out on us. I hope she fades back in soon. At any rate, we're going to stop the broadcast now, and I'm going to still wait for Anna to come back in and join us because I know she wants to say hi to some of you. So I have gone ahead and posted the link to join us and come say hi. And Denise, I see that you're here as well. I wanted to acknowledge you. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. I think this has been valuable information. I know I'm going to look into how to use Pinterest to grow my own business, and I hope that you will do the same. And if you want more information from Anna, you can go to whiteglovesocialmedia.com, and you'll be able to find out more about her Pinterest courses there. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's just been delightful, and we'll see you on the next Inspirational Businesswoman show. And Anna, did you want to say bye to our audience, and we'll see them in the after show?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Virginia. And I hope that some of you will stick around for so that I can answer your questions. So thank you so much.
Wonderful. All right, everyone, have a great week, and we'll see you next time on the Inspirational Businesswoman Show. Bye-bye now.